Hello, I'm Matt Kerr, and this is the Hot Action Podcast, and we are back for week 2 of the NFL season. Oh my gosh, so here are the results from last week. I went 8-8 in my pick'em, dead average. I went 3-2 in my best bets, and I survived in Survivor. Baltimore got the job done. And they also covered, which was a added bonus. Alright, so let's go over these results in a little more detail here. We got Kansas City minus 6.5. Detroit won that game outright. That's going to go in the L column for me. I believed in Kansas City. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was a aberration. We'll find out. Tennessee plus 3.5. That was a winner, but they did lose the game. Jacksonville minus 4.5. They came in. They did their thing. Minnesota minus 6.5 against Tampa Bay. They lost that game outright. Extremely disappointing for Minnesota. Being very, very efficient in one-score games last year, maybe that's going to regress to the mean. Arizona, they lost, but they covered. Pittsburgh just got mollywomped 30-7. Pittsburgh hype train might have just got the brake speed off it right there. Cincinnati, they also got whomped. Cleveland might be the real deal. Let's find out as the season goes along. It turns out there's going to be a lot more hard-to-bet teams than I anticipated. But we'll find out if we can figure this out going forward. Atlanta is who we thought they were. They smoked Carolina. Carolina is, hopefully one of the teams that we can, pick on for the rest of the year. Let's hope they're easy pickings going forward. Baltimore smoked Houston. Covered a 9.5 point spread. Helped me survive in Survivor. Green Bay, 1.5 points over Chicago. I was correct. Green Bay smoked Chicago. Philadelphia minus 3.5 over New England. That ended up being a 5-point differential. Some places, by the game time, had a line up to 5.5 points, so betting on New England ended up being the right call. If you got that kind of point spread, but that 3.5 point spread was juicy. Now, of course, I said Seattle would screw me over, and they did. They got smoked, and again, the hype train, the wheels might have fallen off. We need to monitor the Seattle team going forward because it was a I don't even know how to put it. It was a scenario where the shift in expectations was so violent that I almost got physically sick. Miami won that game straight up. No need for the extra points. They look excellent. I am very excited about this Miami team. I didn't mention it last couple episodes, but my fantasy booking Super Bowl is Dallas versus Miami, so we're going to hope for that to happen. Denver did not manage to make it too hard on Vegas. Vegas won in Denver. This Denver team might be really bad. Let's watch out for that. Dallas minus 3.5. They won by 40. A lot of people were trying to convince me to take the Giants there. I stayed strong. Would not do it. And then sadly, Buffalo could not manage to win a game where Aaron Rodgers left the field within, I think, 4 snaps was the final total. All Buffalo had to do was play some mistake-free football, and that should have been enough, but they lost that game. I think Josh Allen threw 3 picks and a fumble. Very disappointing stuff. Hard to predict any of that type of thing. And my best bets were, for memory's sake, were Seattle minus 5.5, Miami plus 2.5, Buffalo minus 2.5, Green Bay plus 1.5, Tennessee plus 3.5. So that added up to 3-2. All right. So that's the results, and now we're on to this week. This week we've got Thursday Night Football, Minnesota plus 5.5 at Philadelphia. Now, Minnesota's got some firepower, and I think it's still early enough in the year that I will be taking the points. Even though that is, they did lose a pretty embarrassing game there. That being said, if they can just hang, move the ball a bit on Philadelphia, score a few field goals here and there, I think that's going to be enough to win with the points here. I tend to think early in the season, take points. That's a big line. I'm taking Minnesota. Okay, Chicago at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay won, Chicago lost. I don't feel particularly confident about either of these teams, but at home, less than a 3-point favorite, I'm going to take Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay minus 2.5. So we got Green Bay minus 1.5 at Atlanta plus 1.5. I'm going to take the home dog. I don't really see why Green Bay would be super favored in this matchup. Atlanta looked really good running the ball. Defense looked reasonable, but, they were up against a pretty bad team. But at this point in time, Green Bay's only defeated Chicago, and who knows what they might be this year. I'm still, very unsure of what Green Bay are at this point in time. So now we've got Indianapolis at Houston. This is a tough game to pick. So it's a 1.5 point line. Houston's favored by 1.5. Or no, Indianapolis is favored by 1.5. So you can get Houston as a home dog. I don't know. It feels like this is a pretty tight. I'll take Indianapolis. Now, Seattle and Detroit. Again, you get 5.5 points if you bet on Seattle. I might use the same logic I used with Minnesota and Philly. But I also really don't feel great about Seattle after Sunday's absolute bare-bottom spanking the Rams gave us. And as usual, I'm terrible at betting Seattle, so I'm going to take Detroit minus 5.5. I feel like it might already be week 2. Time to Costanza mode Seattle for me. Just do the opposite of whatever I think is right. Now we got the Chargers at Tennessee. You can take them as 3.5 point home dogs. They didn't get a lot going on offense last week. And the Chargers were running roughshod over the Miami defense until the final drive. I think the home dogs, I'm going to take Tennessee. They got the job done for us last week. We're going to take Tennessee. All right, so Baltimore plus 3.5 at Cincinnati minus 3.5. That's easy pickings for me. Baltimore as a dog. I think based on everyone's performance last week, Baltimore should be, more or less favored to win this game, but we'll see. They had some fumble issues last week, so Lamar needs to take care of the ball. But Cincinnati only scored 3 points, I think, if I remember correctly. That's no recipe for winning. Up next, we've got Las Vegas plus 8.5 at Buffalo. Now this is one of those games where you're like, that line is huge. Buffalo looked like trash last week. They couldn't beat the Jets without Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to take the points. I think one interception from Buffalo keeps this game within cover mode for Vegas. I'm trying not to overreact, but as long as Vegas can, take care of the ball and not, implode, I think they should be able to cover. Now I've got Kansas City minus 2.5 at Jacksonville. Jacksonville looked good in the first game. Kansas City, not so much. Travis Kelce might be back this week, I've been reading, so who's to say what could happen here? I think this is a tough line. But Jacksonville as home dogs is not a bad opportunity here. But also, Kansas City, I do not think they're going to look as bad as they did last week all year. I think they're going to figure it out. I got major belief in Patrick Mahomes and Coach Reed. Dang, this is a tough one. I think I'm going to go Jacksonville plus 2.5. All right. Now we got San Francisco minus 7.5 at the Rams. This is an interesting line because San Francisco absolutely smoked the Steelers, who I think are better than the Rams on the road. And the Rams looked better than I expected, though, against Seattle. I think if we're not going to overreact, I think we take San Francisco minus 7.5. I don't know. I don't know what to do here. Yeah, I'm going to take San Francisco minus 7.5. Or do I take... I don't know. Home dogs. The Rams did not look as bad as I thought. But usually also McVay has trouble with Shanahan. This is a tough week, but it's a divisional match. I'm going to take the points. I'm going to probably look stupid on Monday, but we'll see how it goes. Now, the Giants lost by 40, and Arizona kind of kept it tight against Washington. I'd like to know the difference in quality between the Giants and Washington, because last week I could imagine it wasn't that great. Now, Arizona's getting 5.5 at home. Oof. Man, this week feels tough to me. I'm just going to keep taking home dogs. Arizona plus 5.5. Now, this one, this is an interesting line here. We got Jets at Dallas. Jets plus 10.5. Or plus 9.5, rather. I'm going to be taking Dallas. I think this Jets team is high off that win. But now they've got... reality is going to be setting in. They got Wilson at quarterback. Like, this is going to be a tough year. They went from having a lot of hope to like 8-9 being a pretty good result. And this Dallas team absolutely smoked the Giants on Sunday night. So I'm going to keep rolling with these Dallas guys. Washington at Denver. Denver minus 3.5 at home. I want to believe in this Denver team improving a little bit for some reason. I don't know why. I think Sean Payton, if anyone can do it, he can. But for now, I'm going to take this Washington. Well, I don't know. Actually, I'm going to take Denver at home. Minus 3.5. Washington did not do enough to make me confident in them yet. Then we got Miami minus 2.5 at New England. I'm going to be taking Miami. Their offense was just humming. So, if they're out there throwing 35s on people, we're going to be... I don't think that New England can match the scoring. I know their defense is good, but for the moment, I'm going to keep rolling with Miami until they burn me. And maybe even beyond that. I'm really loving this Miami team. Now we got New Orleans at Carolina. 2.5 point home dogs. Usually my system says in prime time, in divisional matches, you always take the points. So I'm going to do that. And, oh, look, another primetime divisional match. We will be taking Pittsburgh. Yep. That's the system. I think a lot of people are going to get drawn into this Cleveland pick because they look good. But you got to believe in Pittsburgh. And we're going to put in 42 as our tiebreaker. All right. And then for Survivor, we will be picking Dallas this week because they might not have the largest line, but I believe in them more than I believe in Buffalo at the moment. And for me, that's how I'm going to make this decision. And now, in regards to best bets, I think I'm going to go with Miami, Dallas, Pittsburgh, Atlanta. Okay, sorry. Pittsburgh, Miami, Dallas, do I do Detroit? Oh my god. Okay, we're going to go Pittsburgh, Miami, Dallas, Detroit, Minnesota. Let's write that down for next week. Pittsburgh, Miami, Dallas, Detroit. Oh god. Minnesota. All right. That's it for this week, y'all. If you followed my bets last week, you're alive in Survivor and you've made a small amount of money. Let's see how this year continues to go. I'm already feeling extremely shell-shocked. Let's keep grinding it out. We're going to make some money this year. I promise. Let's go. This has been the Hot Action Podcast. Peace.